This is the One Piece Podcast, episode 598 for the week of Sunday, December 1st, 2019. My name is Ed.
And my name is Steve.
And on this episode this week, we have a manga recap of chapter 964, Oden's Adventure, and an anime recap for episode 912. But on this episode this week, we also have some special guests. First, we have the Eisner Award-nominated comic artist, Joey Weiser.
Hey everybody! Welcome to December.
Thanks, thank you, Joey. It's thank you for coming on. It's been a while since we've had you on, so we're happy to hear you again.
Since about the middle of the year, I think it's weird how time just kind of got out from under us.
Well, you're always on our mind, and you're always in the Twitter chat. We're always talking to you, so it's just like it just feels like you never left.
Yeah, my name does come up from time to time where it's like oh, if Joey was here, he'd have something to say.
Anyway, all right, so we also have our anime recap host, Sam Leach.
How about that One Piece?
It's good. Even the anime is very good this week. Can we talk about that in the anime recap?
Big fan.
All right, and our very special guest, first-time guest here on the show, we have a man about Twitter, at YCarps, David Bednar. He's also a video game user interface artist, and good to have you on the show, David.
Hey, it's really exciting to be here.
Right on. So you've sort of cultivated a Twitter presence over the last couple of years, talking a lot about One Piece and other anime as well. But I was sort of curious, where did you get your start with One Piece? When did you get into the show?
So One Piece has been sort of adjacent to me for a long time. I remember being like, I don't know, 8 in a Barnes & Noble and looking up and being like, Napeg, what is this thing about? And then I'd open it up, and there was just like a bunch of clowns inside, and I was like, "Oh, this is like one of those clown mangas, like Akira." And so I put it back, and for a long time, that's all I thought One Piece was. Then when I went to art school, I actually went to the same school that Joey did. I was like a year too. Well, actually, you were like a senior when I was a freshman. So
okay,
but like we've kind of got some pals in common. So a lot of my friends in the sequential department, which was the comics department, they all read One Piece. And like all of them, like all the really good artists liked One Piece. And I was like, okay, I should really give this thing a shot. Actually, the thing that really got me in was one of my pals, Ricky Bryant, who it was a cleanup artist who's been like he shows up on the internet too sometimes. He was a cleanup artist on a bunch of like Skullgirls and things like that. He had this beautiful case filled with, to that point, every single Portraits of Pirates statue. And oh yeah, and I remember him like audibly distressingly groaning when he saw the next wave had been announced. It was like, oh, I gotta get these now.
How long ago was that then?
That was, I remember, I think the manga was somewhere around Punk Hazard, and I think the cartoon was somewhere around. I'm trying to remember. I think the cartoon maybe was around like
Fishman Island.
Yeah, because they had just made the big jump to like HD. I remember everybody being really excited about like the new opening. It was a long time ago, and again, like I was like, this is a clown manga, so the details were fuzzy at that point. So what? But seeing those designs, because like Oda's art style was hard to get into at first because I couldn't quite grasp it. But there was something about seeing like Usopp in 3D that made him click in my head. I was like, oh, he's really cool. Like like all the like the way his nose pokes out and the way his eyes bulge out. Like, I don't know. There's something about it on the page that wasn't quite appealing. And then once I saw it in real life, I was like, oh, okay, these are really good. And then I did not get into One Piece. In fact, it took a few shots. For the longest time, I was not only just an anime-only watcher, I was a dub-only watcher. So
that's how I kind of like remember you as being in regards to One Piece. Is like, oh yeah, David like knows a lot about it, but he just like watches the dub whenever the DVDs come out or whatever.
Yeah, you don't know how excited I am that there's new dub coming because I've been stuck at the end of Fishman Island forever, and it was getting real tedious. But along the way, So I finally got into it, and I got in hard. Like I remember working on a commission real late at night, and I was blowing through it on Funimation.com, and I got to the Usopp's Luffy fight in Water 7, and I had to stop and go and like hold my wife and just like sob for a while. I was like, they love each other so much, but they can't be together. And she was like, David, it's a cartoon. It is midnight. Take a break. But that was when I was like, oh no, this is going to be a thing that I love forever. So then actually I started listening to you guys pretty shortly after that. So I've got a weird grasp of One Piece. Like, again, I've been suffused with all my pals and friends. There are no spoilers to be like everything that happens I know about, and I have read the manga up through I just finished up Skypiea, and I'm trying to finally collect all my thoughts for the end of that, because there's a lot that goes on in there that is so much better in the manga than in the anime. I can't believe it. So I'm up through there in the manga, and then also I started listening to you guys somewhere around listening to you guys every single week religiously way early on in Whole Cake.
That's like 2 years ago at this point, isn't it? 3 years ago, yeah.
I know. I've had multiple children, multiple houses, moved halfway across the country. You guys have been very good friends along the way. So I got through Whole Cake Island, and then when Wano started, I was like, this is the jumping on point. So I got my Shonen Jump subscription, and I've been reading Wano at release every single time since then.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. So, like, up to this point, like, who's your favorite character? Who's your favorite Straw Hat?
Oh, that's hard. I really like I really like Nami. She's really cool. One of the things that's really surprising me about reading the manga is, okay, so last time on the podcast, y'all had the Kuja cast, and they got into some ships. And I realized that my A+ #1 ship is Nami and Usopp, which is a little weird, but also like one thing that happens in Skypiea is that Nami can go toe to toe for goofiness with Usopp when like the moment calls for it, like when he's like starts doing his like I'm gonna his psychological warfare, where he's like, imagine being stuck under the fingernails with needles, and she goes, oh no, that's terrible. It's like, oh wow, she's goofy. And like I love that like she's the smartest one, that like her weapon requires a complicated knowledge of meteorology, and nobody else can use it, not because like the power isn't there, it's that just being that smart and intuitive does not come to anybody else. I think that like it makes me mad when she gets left behind, and she gets left behind a lot, and she's going to be left behind a lot. I know that's coming up. But there's just something about Nami that's really, really cool. I love Usopp. As I've been reading through, like I've been trying to, so in my read through, I've been trying to do a thematic unpacking of One Piece, and it's not like the most elaborate thematic unpacking. It's pretty basic, but then like it's One Piece, so like they're big, broad themes. They're big themes for children, so that's cool. But one of the things that I love about Usopp is that he's the one that gets it. He's the in the biblical terms, the Saint. What is it? Saint John is the David was always described as a man after God's own heart. Usopp is after Luffy's heart. He's the one that gets it. He's the one that gets it first. Whenever there's a big battle or something like that, like, and everybody else is like, Luffy, run away, you're gonna get killed. He's the one that's like, no, man, he's got to fight it out. And like, I love
the great impression.
Thank you. And like Luffy himself, like the strangest thing is that like I think Luffy might be smart. I think through my read through, the thing that I keep coming back to is that like when I watch through the anime, like Luffy's a dumbass and he just likes eating and punching. And reading through the manga, like the thing that I love is that he is actually in control a lot of the time. He establishes like even early on with like Captain Kuro, when like he's like, I'm gonna go up and wreck this town, and Luffy says, you're not gonna go up this beach. And he's like, why? He says, because I don't want you to go up the beach, and I'm the king. Like there's the way that Luffy comports himself throughout the story is actually very, very purposeful and very, very intentional. And it's really weird because like he's also a big goof ass who will like stop and go like, cool, Heracles beetles or the One Piece? What's the biggest treasure? And that's a hard one. But like,
he's very singularly minded, and
he is right where the universe
needs
needs him to be.
Yeah, and anything that doesn't like particularly interest him, he doesn't have time for, kind of.
Yeah.
So I could see that. I could see how that could also translate to looking like a dumb guy, you know.
Yeah, and like, so that being said, like, I saw Stampede with Ed, and I freaking love that movie, and like half of that stuff went past me because I've got a big blank spot in my One Piece knowledge that goes from the end of Fishman Island up to the beginning of Whole Cake. So I'm like, man. I know, and I know that like basically that's just like 90% of that is Dressrosa. Like actually 120% of that is Dressrosa. But
Punk Hazard and Dressrosa really sort of lead into the same thing. But you also get things like Law's flashback, and actually Usopp gets a lot of material in Dressrosa that you haven't even seen yet, and he's one of your favorite characters. I think he might be your favorite character, like in the number one after you like read Dressrosa.
Yeah, no, but like, yeah, so like a lot of things in Stampede just blew past me because like all of the Worst Generation, like they show up for a hot sec in Shabandi, and then they just kind of peace out. And then like I haven't seen them yet. I haven't gotten to them. So I'm like, okay, I guess Capone's cool. I don't know. He's kind of like, he just looks like a Rankin Bass character to me. So like that part's tough. But like in Stampede, the fan service that like I responded to was Usopp being like understanding the stakes and rising to the occasion in a condition where nobody else could. And what I really, really loved was like when Douglas Bullet lands down and he flashes his Conqueror's Haki. All the other pirates are badasses and can like weather it. Luffy's the one that says no and immediately flashes his own because he has to meet this challenge because otherwise he is not a king. He is not worthy of the mantle. And like yeah, One Piece good. Okay.
Does anyone else have questions for David before we move on?
No, I think that the sort of pairing of Usopp and Nami is an interesting thing to think about, but just because they I mean, even outside of the idea of like romantic pairing and stuff, but just the idea that they really do see eye to eye as far as being members of the crew who see themselves as like more mortal or whatever, you know, like aren't they part of the quote unquote weakling trio? And yeah, so they definitely like occupy a different space on the crew than other members who are like overpowered, you know.
Yeah, and like it wasn't until the Climate Act that because like what I love about the Climate Act is that Usopp makes a weapon for Nami that only Nami can use. Like there's a level of understanding there of both like that really speaks to their closeness. He's observed who she is and what she can do and has made the perfect thing for her. I think that's awesome.
They also get like the biggest, one of the bigger reunion parts of the return after this time skip.
It's true.
Yeah. All right, you guys want to get into the manga recap?
Yeah.
All right,
let's do it.
Chapter 964. Let's do it. This is the manga recap for Chapter 964, Oden's Adventure. And on the front page, we've got Gang Bedge's Oh My Family, Volume 14. We're going to shoot you with Kiss Kiss Cooties, too. Like, look at these. Yeah, what's going on? What's going on here? Yeah, they're on a
bad touch.
Yeah, they're on a kissing.
I think I've lost the plot here.
Yeah, what's like Capone hasn't been in this in like 3 weeks. Was he in last week's cover? I don't think he was. It was just these guys.
No, wasn't. Oh yeah, they showed up. Was Queen
wasn't last week's the Queen one?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, that's where the kissing comes from.
And it's like Captain of the Germ Pirates is like, a lot of problematic stuff going on this island. Let's introduce more.
Captain Problematic. Why has he got a like a weird drug flower on his stomach there? What's going on?
There's a lot of weird things going on here, but I guess they have bullets that filled with cooties and
What's the?
Wait, is that the thing on his stomach a cootie? That's what I assumed.
Is that what a cootie looks like?
No, the
It
girl
kind of like a snood.
the girl in the Germ Pirates looks more like a cootie. You know, like that old toy. That game.
The antenna. Yeah.
The cooties. I don't know if I
like
ever
how
played the
she's-
game. I just like taking those pieces out and just making cooties.
Yeah, I like how the antenna girl is executing a execution style smooch.
Yeah.
More tongue.
Wow.
Yeah, this one's kind of unsettling.
Yeah, let's I mean, this is worse than anything Caribou did in his cover story.
Yeah, I'd
That's
say
what
so.
I'm saying.
I mean, Caribou did a lot of bad stuff, but his cover story, he was actually pretty he was the good guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I would like to see more of the Oh My Family, please, and less of this.
More of the family, less of this. Yeah. Okay, let's move on away from these people. And so we Oden is reiterating his general theme here. I want to go out to sea. No, you can't. They respond. It's the general theme of this flashback. Take me with you. Close up of Oden and the Whitebeard pirates like, what? You just tried to kill our captain, didn't you? And at this point, they're all sitting down to eat, and that was a quick turnaround. There, it's like, you tried to kill him. Now we're sitting down for dinner. And Whitebeard correctly points out, you're not the type of person who serves someone else. And I know what happens when you get people like that together in a group. Plenty of bad experiences with my last crew.
Have you heard about that yet? My previous crew?
Yeah. Wow. What happened to them? It's not important. You guys probably don't need to know that yet.
Hey, do you want to know what my bounty is?
Yeah, I don't have my PowerPoint presentation ready, so we'll just move on.
Whitebeard PowerPoint. I like that. All right. Yeah. So Oden's like, or Whitebeard tells him, "You want to sail? Get your own ship." And he's like, "I tried. It didn't work. I got no skill for sailing. I'm terrible. I sink like a stone." Anyway, listen, Whitebeard. There's a strict law in the land of Wano against leaving the country, and Whitebeard's like, "Good to hear. I see eye to eye with the rest of you. I'm not taking him anywhere." Well, Whitebeard's very snappy. His mind is his tongue is much sharper than it used to.
Okay,
I like the DAP sound effect.
Yep.
Yep.
I totally misread what that guy said in the first dialogue, and I read, "Listen, white bread," and
Was he calling him a honky?
Yeah, it's weird. Like, Kinemon is like
It's a good pirate name.
Yeah, you don't have any background for Kinemon really until
no,
Wano.
I don't.
Yeah, it's interesting.
He's the street rat, riffraff.
I don't buy that. But Oden noticing, like, this is Kinemon and Whitebeard having this conversation, but Oden's like, "Hey, you stay out of this. The laws of this nation don't apply to me. I just want adventure.
I want a fist bump.
Yeah, I want to see the
Should
world."
be mine.
So, yeah, we hear 5 islands in the world. There's another conversation going on elsewhere on top of the ship. Feast is happening on the beach, but we hear 5 islands in the world. That's nonsense. You could start counting the islands and not finish until you're past 10 or 20. And we see this is Marco talking
10, 20 million.
Yeah, talking to Dog Storm and Cat Viper, and he says, "You didn't know that? The world's a huge place," and they are so shocked by this. Dog's tongue is hanging out, and they just they're super shocked by this.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody can count the number of islands out there. And so 2 weeks later, in I guess this is Oden's castle. They say, "Where are you going, Lord Oden?" And Oden's like, "Can a man take a shit in peace? I am the daimyo." Go ahead, sir. This is Izo is saying yes. Go relieve yourself. But yeah, Izo is suspicious. Anyway, next page.
All right. I feel so now we're watching the Whitebeard pirates as they sail away from the land of Wano. I feel bad for Oden, but we're shipping out in the middle of the night. He would have been a good addition, just in terms of muscle. And then Whitebeard, and we know it's Whitebeard because he there's a helpful little portrait right in his speech bubble. Let's say I did like the guy. This would be like kidnapping royalty. Only causes trouble down the line. We left a treasure chest as a thanks, right? For all the food and lumber they gave us. But then I think chains suddenly wrap around the mast.
Yep. Swoop, whoop,
Whoop, whoop, whoop. Clang. Hey, what's that? And then is that Oden yelling that? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so, and then Oden's like, I just knew you would try this, Whitebeard! And I just knew you would try this, Lord Oden. You're not going anywhere. And which, oh my god, I'm so bad at names. Which?
Izo.
That's
Izo.
Izo.
So
Yeah.
This is Izo. Okay.
Who is Kiku?
So Izo says,
yeah.
Yeah, because Kiku's just like a little baby right now.
Slightly
she's
older.
She's like a teenager
Child.
now.
Yeah.
He's like a young baby. Like a middle-sized baby.
a newborn.
And then all the on the next page, all the Whitebeard pirates, Oden, they can't believe their eyes. A lot of good reaction shots. But Oden, with Izo tagging on behind, has grabbed onto the chain and is being tugged through the water, water ski style. Leaving the country is my dream. Let's travel together. Show me the world. Come back, my lord. You are the shogun in waiting. And Marco grabs onto the chain. Clang. He says, this guy's wild. So long, Oden. Go back home. And Whitebeard says, wait, Marco. Huh? Pull up the one who grabbed onto him. But only that one. Here come the falls. Ah! And then because we have forgotten the Wano geography, there's a ton of waterfalls. And when you go out the other side, you fall down. One of my favorite repeating circumstances in One Piece. Hold on tight. Worry about yourself. As they all fall down.
All right. But we immediately go back to Wano, where we just left. And word's getting around that Lord Oden has gone missing, and Whitebeard's ship is gone too. And little Okiku here is, and Brother Izo, and Doggy, and Kitty. And Denjiro says, like, don't assume the worst just yet. They're fine. Kids, everything's gonna be just fine. Now get your corpse handling gloves. That's a Simpsons. I'd say search for them. Search the entire country, as a bunch of Gyas and Ras are yelled throughout town. And we see more of the crazy in the waves of the outskirts of Wano as Oden holding on to dear life onto this chain just is swung around through these waves and underwater, hits all these rocks like a ping pong ball with a gank and a gonk. And
it's very Homer going down the gorge, isn't
it?
Hitting every rock on his head on the way up.
And on the deck of the Moby Dick, Izo says, like, Whitebeard, pull up Lord Oden now. He's going to drown. The future of Wano rests upon his shoulders, as just a familiar sight of the guest of the Moby Dick standing in the center as all the Whitebeard pirates just gather around and just sit and watch in the dialogue arena, I like to call it, of the Whitebeard ship. We've seen
20 years from now, Rockstar will be standing in
been his dream. But Whitebeard says, you saw how many times I refused him, boy, and he still made it out to sea. So we're going to play by my rules. Whitebeard rules.
Whitebeard rules.
It's a Whitebeard rules match scheduled for one fall. He says, I can't just let a dangerous man like him step on a board. It would be exposing my family to risk. Would someone please think of the children? As someone think of the young Marco. If you want to stop him, talk him down. You have 3 days.
And to show you I'm serious, you have 2 days.
And I believe this is Whitebeard yelling out back to Oden. He says, listen up. If you could hold on to that chain for 3 whole days, 3 whole days of playtime, I'll let you come aboard this ship. And Oden responds ever so wisely with Glabaga Burgle Blub.
That's perfect. Episode title sorted already. No, I'm
So
kidding.
the gauntlet has been thrown. Glabaga Burgle Blub. Blah! It's he says, you said it. I heard you. And Whitebeard says, that's right. I don't break my word. A young Arlong takes notice.
It's like a remix of Inagata Davida. Gabba gabba go blue.
Don't you know? Oh, gobble.
I was gonna say noted Ramones fan Oden. Globba globba hey.
Yes, so we are treated to a little rocky montage of Oden hanging on to the chain and being tugged along throughout the ocean. He's running on a beach. He's chopping wood. He's falling asleep at the chain, and Izo's watching. It's raining. Another day, there's a fish biting him like he's bait. Another day, it's snowing, and you can see that Oden's face is getting all puffy and swollen because he's just been taking a beating throughout all these days. He's trailing behind the Moby Dick, and another day, and they're saying, "Oh, is he still out there?" Yeah, I can barely believe it. Between the collisions and the water, he's completely misshapen. Just 1 more hour. You got this, Oden. It's Marco, who is now looking like a little older. It makes you think we've been at this for like a year or something. Hey, why are you rooting for him? And Marco says, because if he passes the test, he's one of us, right? He's very excited to include a new member to the crew. and the other crewmates are just like, oh, they're not as enthusiastic as him. You can do it, Oden. Come on, Oden, you're almost there. Let's go, Oden. You've got it, Oden. And Oden's like, he's like under the water right now. We can kind of see it through the
That's
the
a
panel.
really cool little composition there.
Yeah.
And Whitebeard's just kind of gritting his teeth as all of his crewmen are shouting, "Go, Oden!" He's like, "Oh crap, they might get attached to him. We might have to keep the puppy."
You can't name your Odins.
Yeah, Oden just followed us home. Can we keep him?
Now, boys, and Oden is a lot of responsibility.
That's good.
just imagining a dog with just like those long, like, hound ears, but it just still has the face of Oden.
and the hair.
Yeah, and there, and just like a dog nose. It's just a black dog nose. It's like that creepy lion from Thriller Bark.
You play fetch, you throw a stick, and he comes back with a woman.
I was thinking they'd find him in a box that says "Free Odins" on it.
brings back a dead pig. It's like, hey, it's a gift.
Slice it away in half.
Woof!
I love you guys.
All right. Where were we?
So Izo is, I guess, chained to the mast as you do, and he's saying, "For putting my master through this torment, I will see that you pay, Whitebeard." He's got a little tear in his eye. He's so frustrated by the pain that Odin's going through. And people are still cheering, "Come on, you can do it!" And Whitebeard he's more or less resigned at this point. We cut ahead to on another island. And somebody's shouting, "Why are you running away, woman? We're gonna take you on our own ship. Oh, we're gonna take you on our ship to Wano, just like you wanted." And the woman, they're shouting to the woman, "Come over here. We don't want to hurt you." And the woman, we're seeing her from behind right now, and she's saying, "No, I suppose you don't."
And then on the next page, we turn around to see a beautiful young lady's face, and she says, "Because that's a slaver's ship." And she continues, she asks them, "Will my price drop if I'm damaged in any way? You're clearly wicked men by the looks of you. Who would get tricked by the likes of you?" And then she answers her own question, "I would. Stupid, stupid me." And we are introduced to Amatsuki Toki. And so we finally see what she looks like every other One Piece lady.
She looks like Hiyori.
What the subtle difference is, she's got the kind of droopy eyes like Hiyori, for sure.
Yeah, she's got lipstick.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm sure in color her hair is something wild.
And also she is wearing she has crescent moons on her clothes, and she's also wearing Nami's boots with the cuffs that she had early on in the series.
Oh, classic Nami boots.
Yes.
Yeah, I looked up Amatsuki because it has Tsuki in it, moon, and the Ama is heaven, so heaven's moon, which is interesting, given I don't know, the weird like hierarchies and classes and everything. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Is that the same Ama like in Amaterasu?
I think so.
Steven would know, but it sounds like it.
Yeah, no, I just looked up her name and saw the kanji that they'd put on the One Piece wiki and was like, that's heaven, neat. So hopefully that's correct. But
she's listed in the wiki as Heaven's Moon Toki, by the way.
Oh, okay.
Well that's
no. I'm just joking because you can never tell what they're gonna choose.
Well, yeah, you had me there for a second.
Yeah, I'd buy it.
Yeah.
So we get to this like rough looking guy with his battle vest on, his like denim with the little pins and everything, and he says, "The sea's at your back. There's nowhere to run, so give up." And she says, "Not quite. I do have a means to escape." And she thinks to herself that she's trapped, and it might be again time to jump into the future. When suddenly they're all shocked because a horrible monstrosity rises from the sea. They scream saying, "An umibozu, this sea monster." And we see this horrible bloated figure with a very distinct flat haircut saying, "I heard a rumor's verse."
I want all the ham.
And someone is eking, and he continues calling for help, glurp, and he is spitting up fluids of all sorts, I'm sure. I love this panel, it's so funny. And so Toki is shocked at the monster, and he continues asking if she's safe as he's still vomiting.
He looks like a celestial dragon.
He does, it's true.
This is a hell of a panel, though. This one's just like, he looks even more grotesque in profile.
I love that he also has the like cartoony, like I've been punched on the head, like bumps on his head as well. Yeah.
He looks a little like when Tetsuo swells into a baby in Akira.
Oh yeah. His power's out of control.
Kaneda, Toki's dying.
Yeah, and then she goes on to talk about amoebas having the power of humans or something, and it's very confusing. So she asks if he has come here to save him or to save her, and he collapses in the sea with a splosh. And then we zip back over to Whitebeard's ship, where everyone is very disappointed. Oden has disappeared. Only a couple more minutes to go, but I guess they couldn't take any more, and they're blaming Whitebeard for his cruelty and saying that he had less than an hour left. And they're kind of urging that Whitebeard should have just let him on and everything. And they're all kind of on board with Oden at this point, saying, "He was doing really good, man."
Yes,
just 1 hour until retirement.
We turn the page, and we're moving on to the next day already. And Toki has, I guess she's been taking care of him and healing him up. And She's remarking, "Oh, what incredible healing! So you are human after all. Now that he's in regular shape." And he's going, "Ha! Too bad I couldn't get onto Whitebeard's ship. I figured I could see all sorts of places if I was there. But all's well that ends well. I'm standing on foreign soil for the first time. At last, I have left the land of Wano. My adventure has begun. It would seem you nursed me back to health, woman. Thank you." And she's saying, "Oh, no, you were the one who saved me. But did you say you were from Wano?" And Oden says, "That's right. I'm finally out of the country. And you're dressed the same old way. I gotta admit, I'm a little disappointed. I wanted something a little more exciting for my first adventure out."
What was the point of even leaving?
Yeah, that line had me.
All the women look the same. What the hell? And Toki says, "Oh, actually, it's been my deepest desire to go to Wano ever since childhood. Would you please take me there?" And the disgust on Oden's face. Just like, "Ugh, that place." She's like, "You don't seem to like that idea."
Does this whole thing? I don't know if I should say this till after we're finished reading through the chapter, but I just felt like I want to ask now. So, with Toki being really interested in going to Wano, does that make her a weeb in the One Piece universe?
Well, they make it sound like she was from there. Well, we'll get to that.
Yeah, it seems like she's probably from there, but yeah, I like the idea that she just dresses that way and she's been trying to go there.
I've always wanted to go to Wano.
Yeah.
Get my Wano rail pass.
Anime, manga, sushi.
Yeah.
So I guess that makes her
Gilgamesh.
so she's a wanaboo.
Yes, there we go.
Wanoboo.
Oh my god.
Wanoboo. That's a good episode title.
So when they finally get hitched, is Odin gonna be like, "Do you want to boo my lover?"
Oh God.
God.
Gotta get with his friends.
So a figure is showing up behind them. He's saying, "Hey, where'd that monster from yesterday go?" And they're looking over their shoulder, and it's Captain Karma from the Cephaloctopus Pirates, who looks a little familiar.
Yeah, he was in the war. He was a Whitebeard ally.
Okay, I was wondering. I knew he looked familiar, but I didn't remember.
So he's totally getting killed off in this flashback.
So his crew is saying, "Oh, that's the woman, Karma. Get her." You found it. And Karma's saying, "Oh, so you found a bodyguard, huh? Then I'll sell the both of you." And Odin's just very interested in this man's whole body thing. 6 arms, fascinating. I've never seen a human being like that in Wano. And Toki's cuddling up to him, and she's saying, "Oh, no, we should run. There are too many of them." And then just Whitebeard just like bop, smacks him on the head.
He did not see that. He did not see that coming.
Yeah.
At this point, he's way more into Karma than Toki.
Yeah.
So Whitebeard's arrived, and Odin is surprised. He's like, "Oh, it's the Whitebeard pirates!" And Whitebeard's saying, "Get on the ship, Odin." And Odin's saying, "What? But I let go of the chain. You gave up your ambitions because of a woman's shriek. I didn't take you for the soft type."
And on the next page, we get a dashing profile view of Whitebeard saying, "We're going on a grand adventure beyond anything you can imagine, little brother." And Oda...
you gotta say that like the Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
Little brother. And Odin goes full Wanoboo, and "You're letting me join White Kichi?" And on board the ship, everyone's having a big party. "Odin, way to go! Welcome aboard! Rah!" Tossing him in the air. "We're sorry about the horrible crap Pops put you through." And Odin is nonplussed. Hey, about that.
That's Whitebeard.
Whitebeard, sorry.
Yeah. It's interesting that he calls him little brother. They're not his sons yet.
He's not old enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had that thought too. I wonder when the switch was where he was like, "Now you're my sons."
Well, he was earlier in the chapter. He was talking about how he can't let somebody like that threaten his family. So he does still have that kind of.
So, I guess the implication is Whitebeard is not going to be Odin's pop, like all the other crew calls him.
Oh,
Odin's
okay.
kind of more. He's more on Whitebeard's level, which is probably why he doesn't stay on the crew for very
He
long.
was he was talking about that exactly earlier. We can't have two people like that on the ship, so
Yeah.
it does make sense.
So Oden is just like your crazy uncle that comes over for Thanksgiving.
Pretty much.
I tried making my own river. Like, that's nice, Uncle Oden.
So as we continue, Oden is surprised to see Dogstorm and Cat Viper on board. Dogstorm and Cat Viper, what are you doing here? We just knew you were going to find a way to get on the ship, so we snuck on board ahead of time. Hey, we got stowaways.
It's like Carrot.
And Whitebeard says, "Oh, what?
Oh, I was just remarking. It seems like a mink instinct to be a stowaway.
Oh, sure." So Whitebeard says, "Weren't you going to make me pay for this? Are you?" And Toki says, or no, Izo says, "Are you going to toss me into the sea first? I feel like it. Grah, rah, 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 rah." And who are you? On the next page, Whitebeard is questioning Toki, who says, "My name is Toki. I am hoping to travel to Wano, and you do not like that." And Whitebeard gives the exact same face.
They're very alike. Yeah. Very, very similar.
Yeah. It's like of all the places you want to go, why that one?
Why does everyone always want to go back to Jakku?
Yeah, it's that, and it's kind of it's the Arrested Development. Her there, Wano.
Yes.
That island egg?
Really?
Yeah. Actually, speaking of eggs, the next page.
Well,
Yeah.
oh no, hang on. So
never mind.
Toki says,
Yeah.
"I will do anything. Let me stay here." As you wish. But suddenly, enemy attack!
Enemy attack.
Enemy attack!
Wait, Oden, we haven't plundered anything yet. Action is fast and fierce when you're crewed up with the Whitebeard pirates, and suddenly, and we start seeing like little vignettes and flashes of Oden's experience. He's all starry-eyed. "What is this place? I've never seen anything like these buildings. Wow! Wait, Oden, we have to scout it out first. It was a world I'd never seen." We see in his internal monologue. Where is this?
Yeah,
Is this a
cool?
Is this a new place?
It's the
wonder
Kingdom
what
of
Yari
Spears.
is.
It's Yari. It's spear. That's what. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Let's go. Luffy's attack. Gum spear.
Oh.
Oh.
So yeah, it's
Yeah.
like the Kingdom of Spears or something, or lances. It looks like something you would use in a joust.
Yeah, I love those designs.
Mhm.
They look neat.
All right. And then on our last pages, he says, "Cold and heat like I'd never experienced." And as we see him get frozen in a block of ice in one place, as everyone rushes to get him out. And in a completely different place, he is on fire as everyone runs to try and put him out. Plants and animals. As we see in the first panel, Oden finally watches One Piece movie 6. And
Yep.
And then the following panel, he sees giant koalas, and he just has to have one.
They are. Yeah, they don't like that.
Koalas don't like a lot of things.
Yeah.
He's
But,
trying to get it for Toki.
Yeah, I think this is totally a carnival, and Toki's
Yeah.
like,
Oh my
"Win me
God, the
one."
hearts! Look at that.
Yeah.
That's, that is
I
actually
noticed that.
cute.
It's great.
It's like, "I'm gonna win you the big one, Toki."
And that koala's like, "You're touching my butt."
I'm sorry, do I know you? And it's huge as we meet more people, as we're on some island and we meet a giant. Not even going to bother speculating where this could be. I'm pretty sure giants like hanging out on many islands. And strength.
Well, he's got
Sorry.
he's got horns. Do you think that he's an Oars typey giant?
Oh,
It's true.
I don't
He
know.
doesn't, and he doesn't look particularly like Nordic.
No, he's wearing a
Yeah.
derby, which isn't usual.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe in the same way that there's kind of different types of sky people. Maybe there's different types.
Well,
of
no, that's what
giants.
Saul said back.
Yeah,
way
Saul
back.
said he's he's not
He's
like-
not from Elbaf, so there's different kinds of giants.
But he still attacks the Whitebeard pirates as Oden witnesses great strength, and Whitebeard says, "Stay back," as Oden has a look of glee on his face. I could just imagine if we saw close-ups of like Oden being frozen on fire. I'm pretty sure you would have the same look on his face.
That's good anime
very
filler there.
Excited
That's
to be in trouble.
good anime
But-
material there.
But ideas, everything was new and different. Every day, my old illusions were shattered. Everything surpassed my imagination. I was so small, and I only knew a tiny piece of the world. As we see, like just a big celebration on Whitebeard's ship, and just they're all just having a big, looks like they're just having like a big barbecue, and they're drinking. Cat Viper and Dogstorm are dancing along with Marco. Oden is wearing a crown. And Whitebeard is doing that thing in One Piece I like, that clapping above your head.
Oh yeah.
I like that a lot. So good times. But then we have Toki here reading out her dating profile. She says, "My age, I'm 26 years old, but I was born about 800 years ago." And this is just met with laughter, and I'm thinking this is just people being like, "Yeah, okay, sure. Whatever, crazy lady."
It's not like you know some crazy secrets about the birth of the world government or something.
Oh my god. I forgot 800 is a magic number.
Mm-hmm.
Holy crap.
Did you just realize that?
Yes.
It's a good chapter.
Oh man, I'm just rewatching One Piece, so I'm just shy of the Robin flashback, and I'm surprised. Like if I just saw those episodes, I would have been like, "Oh my god!" But here I am. But anything could happen, as Oden writes in his journal. But in another sea, let's see, a pup named Buggy and Shanks here.
Oh my god!
Here reading the newspaper. Just cute little Shanks and Buggy's like, "Yet another article about Whitebeard when we're raising all the ruckus over here."
He looks
I
like
wonder what the timeline is between Shanks joining Roger's crew and getting the hat.
Shanks looks like a young Ace with his frowny
He
face
does.
on.
Someone says it says they've got a new samurai from Wano, and he's a real wild man. And someone else picks up the paper. It's like, a samurai from a closed-off nation. I'd like to meet this fellow. And that's the great pirate Gold Roger.
Speaking of eggs, as I was saying.
Oh yeah, that's right. It's Roger, the Roger pirates that have
have a weird fucking egg on their ship for no reason.
The gobbledygooker egg.
Yeah.
We can't see it in this panel.
Yeah, we can't. But I was
Also,
thinking about that.
Roger is like extra handsome in this picture.
Yeah, he is.
He doesn't have like the round Luffy eyes. He's got more.
I was seeing some folks saying just how much he looks like Ace, and I really like it.
Interesting.
He he's squinting because he doesn't have his readers on.
I think it's really interesting that he's Gold Roger here because the D has not been revealed.
Mm-hmm. Right. The world knows him as Gold Roger, like at this point.
All right, so let's go around, get your thoughts on the
Also,
chapter.
Gold Roger is just a punchier name.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, Joey, what are your thoughts on the chapter?
This is a great chapter. It had a little bit of everything. It had so much funny stuff. Like I really love just those like panels of Oden like being frozen and set on fire and, and stuff. Like that's very funny, and important world building type stuff as well. Like I'm very curious about like there's a little bit of a focus of Oden writing in this journal. I kind of wonder if this journal still exists and if it has interesting information that will be important later or something.
I like that.
So last chapter was really important for me because I felt like we had been meeting all of Oden's followers like one by one throughout the story over so many years that they didn't really feel like a unit to me, and now they finally do, and like really so much so, which is really cool about Oda's storytelling ability, and this actually kind of does that for the Whitebeard pirates that I really never thought much about. Like I probably did like. I think I am missing a little bit of the like fun of like seeing the young versions of the Whitebeard pirates here because I don't really remember any of them except for Marco and Jozu sort of. So like, you know,
Is
but
Josu
now
in this, I don't even know if Josu's
No,
in
he
this.
is.
Yes.
We see
Oh,
we
he is?
see young Josu early on in the chapter, and I think he's in the party scene. Yeah, he's sitting next to Whitebeard at the party scene in the last page.
yeah, he's like a big guy with spiky hair, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, and you know, yeah, so and Izo now is becoming more important to me, but it really like now I kind of like feel I don't know, in the war you feel the connection of Whitebeard and his crew, but through a very somber story and sad story, and here we actually get to see them like palling around and having fun and stuff, so that's really nice. But let's see, and yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing more of Toki and Oden like interacting with one another and like really like seeing their romance, seeing if that becomes a big storytelling point or if Oda's just gonna sort of be like, you know, we fell in love over the time we had together or something like that. But it would be nice if we did get a little bit of a love story shown, because we don't get a lot of that in One Piece.
More than just kidnapping the koala.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. But fun chapter with a lot of like cool information and stuff in it too, and good character stuff. So that's about all I've got to say.
Okay, Sam, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm loving basically every chapter of this flashback so far. Even though I still feel like we haven't even gotten to like what the real meat of the story is going to end up being. I feel like we're still warming up. But yeah, I agree with Joey on a lot of what he said about the Whitebeard pirates. I just love any time that you can show like this is what this character looked like all these years ago, and you can kind of juxtapose that against who they are now, and use your imagination to kind of fill in some of the blanks. Which is why I would be cool with a pretty nondescript romantic arc for Oden and Toki. Like if just like stuff like that koala panel and her little hearts and like stuff like that is enough for me, because I like connecting the dots in my head when it comes to stories that happen over a long period of time. Something that this flashback is rubbing me the wrong way on a little bit are characters like Toki and Izo, where I think if I was a more casual fan, I could have easily forgotten who those characters were and why they're important. And so their sudden introduction, that like if I was a casual reader and I had forgotten about them, their sudden appearance in the story would feel very extraneous. I'd be like, what? Why are these characters here? Why are there more? Why are we adding more important characters that I don't know or barely know? Because unless you remember like, oh, Toki is from the past, or Toki is connected to.
Well, she's Momonosuke's mother. Like I feel like
Right.
Wano's been so long at this point, and we're only halfway through, that it can be easy to forget those kind of things. And Izo,
I wish the story was I wish the story kind of walked us back into being like, oh yeah, Toki's like really, really important.
No.
Like, she's not just like she's not just a side character here. She's like, we're gonna get a whole.
Well, speaking as somebody who picked up reading One Piece week to week with Wano, actually, because I don't know my familiarity with all the large head samurai that keep showing up in Wano, like all the big mystery that I've really keyed in is that there is some act of time travel, which seems really, really, really important in the One Piece world, because that stuff doesn't happen.
Right.
That keeps getting brought up just enough that, like, knowing that, okay, Toki's the one that that did it. Like, I've been dying to find out more about this character and how she's how she does what she does, what her backstory is, and what it was like to like the day that the Oden's castle fell. Like, I can't wait for that stuff.
Yeah, and with Izo, I think it's more like, I don't know, their name was never mentioned in like
During the war
at all. So that's more. I feel like that's just sort of a reward for longer time fans. Like, yeah. I mean, they're like the two. I understand what you're saying with Toki, but I feel like with Izo, it's actually just supposed to be more of a Easter egg.
Okay. The thing I really am super interested to find out about Toki is what is the nature of her relationship with time travel? Because my favorite detail about what when she was first mentioned was that she's like actively choosing not to time travel any further. Like she could save herself from the burning castle, but she's like, no, I fell in love with Odin, and so I've decided that this is the era I'm gonna die in. And I'm wondering like, what's the story behind that? I feel like that's a really interesting. And I guess I did like kind of wince a little bit when I turned the page, and I was like, oh yeah, just another Oda girl. Like he's really, really not even pretending to try right now. Lately, I feel, as far as like the variety of female designs, but yeah,
I think that's part of. It's like this is the Japan land of One Piece.
Yeah, I think that is something he's going for. Like he wants it to feel a little more like kind of stripped back and normal, like more normal. I mean, but then it's just the female characters that are normal looking.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not great. All right, David, what do you got?
Yo, so I've really been liking the flashback. I think like what fascinates me is just the character of Oden, because he's this really interesting proto Luffy, like, which is weird because it's what 900 chapters in. He is not the proto Luffy. He is a variant of, but placed backwards in time. Anyway, but like, it's so cool seeing somebody who's so much like Luffy, where he's like we were talking about earlier. He's so blunt and driven by his own interests that it comes off as being really, kind of stupid.
He's callous.
He's callous. He's actually really like super callous. I love super callous, fragile. Never mind. I've loved what a rough-hewn character he is. I love how like Oda's doing a really good job establishing his mythic qualities. I mean, there's something really just primally good about having a character who has to hold on to a chain for 3 days to prove themselves. Like that's mythology right there. That's you were saying, yeah.
Oh no, I was interrupting you. I was when the first Odin chapter came out, when we first saw him for real. I did say on Twitter, it's like when you look back at stories about Greek gods and they're like way weirder than you expected.
I like the comparison the One Piece podcast folks have been saying about was it like Paul Bunyan or Davy Crockett or something, where it's like this sort of like this sort of mythic that definitely the holding onto a chain for 3 days, being dragged through ocean, feels like another one of those, like he cut a giant pig in half and then sewed it back together, type things.
Yeah, like all he really needs to do now is wrestle a bar. And but what's also really what I liked in this chapter was like seeing him go full comedy character, like when he becomes a horrible, gross, lumpy, distended monster. Like that's really funny. Like, and again, like that's drawing those connections, because Luffy would be the one who got beat up so bad that you could not recognize his face. Well, Usopp would be the one that got beat up so bad you could not recognize his face.
I think we've seen it for both of them.
Basically all of the Straw Hats. But like what I'm really looking forward to is we're building this guy up so that he is occupying the same sort of space. Like when I look at Oden, I feel like I'm looking at a kind of a Luffy, and so we're getting to see what it would be like if a Luffy was in these circumstances. So both what that does is it shades the future as sort of here's what would happen if Luffy died and the Straw Hats avenged him. Like I'm really, really interested or I'm really enjoying how this is going to shape my understanding of the current time exploits. I'm also really, really interested in what it's going to be like when he meets Gold Roger, because we're going to see somebody who is like as headstrong, as careless, running up against Gold Roger. And are they going to be the same person? Are they going to have the same archetype, or are there going to be substantial differences between the between this guy that we can judge as sort of like a Luffy and like the guy that Luffy's been judging himself against?
Mm-hmm. So what you're saying is this chapter we saw Gear 4 Umibozu Man.
Yeah.
All right, Steve.
God, I feel like a lot was covered already. But yeah, I like how this flashback continues to feel very different from other ones. It feels like a tall tale. It really does. I'm not, too privy with Japanese folklore, but yeah, this does feel like Davy Crockett, Paul Bunyan stuff here, with just Oden being in these ridiculous situations. Even for One Piece, it's hard to imagine like him just, hanging on to a chain, being dragged by the Moby Dick till he's nothing but a pelvis wearing a belt. That's Adventure Brothers, one for you. But so like that's like so like bizarre that it just really makes this flashback stand out as something very different, something special. Other than that, I just like I think with the Whitebeard pirates being as popular as they are, I'm really glad they've kind of taken center stage for the flashback at the moment, and just seeing more of them, because the only context we really had with them was in the middle of a war. So to see them just hanging around and being a crew like we're used to with like the Straw Hats is pretty fun. Toki seems like she's be a lot of fun. It's weird how she's very self-aware, saying how she's stupid. She would be she would fall for tricks. So yeah, let's see where that goes. But yeah, and now I'm interested in seeing the Roger Pirates, and I think this is the first like non-brief flashback I think we're gonna have Roger in, as far as I know. I feel like Roger is going to be doing a lot more than like a few pages, because every time we see him in flashbacks, it's been very brief, like Whitebeard talking with him and what appeared to be Wano, Garp talking to him in his prison cell.
And the way that the editor's kind of been talking up this flashback.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And somehow Oden goes from Whitebeard's ship to Roger's, right? So
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I think this is the first time we're really going to witness Roger as a character and not just a legend. So
That is very exciting, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it's interesting what you were saying about Toki, because she is she's just as goofy as Oden, really. Like,
yeah.
She's going crazy, like she's going crazy over that over the koala. She's like, she's standing up for herself. She's got this freaking huge sword, but she's also I'd get caught. Yeah, that's like that would happen to me.
Do we recognize that sword? Is that
not really, because it doesn't have like, it's more of a plus sign than like the German style cross of the Kitetsu handles. Yeah, it doesn't really look familiar to me, and it's got like a interesting design on the scabbard too. I don't really know what that's supposed to be, but yeah.
Or that's not Shusui. No, it's not. No, never mind.
No, that has a chrysanthemum style handle.
Yeah, and the
sheath
design
is kind of like
on her clothes too is interesting, because we pointed out that it looks like a crescent moon, but then there's like something in it too, like a weird 3-spiked shape that I don't know if that's supposed to read as something specific or not.
I think it's a crane, actually. Crane, a crane.
Look like little bats to me or something.
Something like that. Yeah.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I mean, I'm really enjoying this. Like the idea of Oden, like Whitebeard really doesn't want him on the ship, so just Oden does what he has to do. He does like more than like any human could endure, and because he's this sort of tall tale figure, like yeah, he could drag behind a boat for 3 days. Yeah, why not? Let's do it. So I'm just enjoying Oden being this sort of over the top character of manliness, and how he clashes with Whitebeard, and Whitebeard sort of sees him like he's annoyed by him, but he's also like, you're on my level, like you fought me, kind of like to a stalemate. So there's this whole sort of, it's reimagining the whole legend of Whitebeard by seeing them in action. So like like you were saying, we got to see Whitebeard at the end of his life, and he was a very serious man. He was sick. He had a lot in his mind. Now we're sort of seeing the Whitebeard that like his crew loved, and I think we're going to see that with Roger as well. So
Yeah.
like you can see what inspires the devotion of their crew here, and it's interesting with Izo because Izo still seemingly doesn't, why does Izo stay and never come back to Wano? That's fascinating to me.
Yeah, because he's got to start to like love Whitebeard.
Yeah, and it's interesting that Oden moves on, but Izo stays. So yeah. So I mean, you guys have pretty much mentioned just about everything else.
Well, before we move on,
go ahead.
I do kind of want to touch back on I think it's on like one of the first few pages where Whitebeard is talking about getting the people who the leader types all in one place. You can't have them, which I think is interesting because I feel like so much of One Piece is about these larger than life figures who kind of have a naturally self-perpetuating momentum to them, and people are attracted to that. So it's interesting to just kind of see that laid out. Like, oh yeah, you can't really put those guys together very easily.
Yeah, it's like the Rocks Pirates are kind of like the Velvet Underground. Everyone, or I guess every member of that went on to form like different, like even more important bands. Like they were barely there for a little while. I guess the line about the Velvet Underground is that nobody bought the album, but everyone who did made tremendous art. Anyway, does anyone else have any final thoughts before we move on to the next segment?
I'm all good.
We're good.
All right, cool. Let's move on to the anime recap.
This is the anime recap for episode 912, The Strongest Man in the World, Shuten Maru, the Thieves Brigade Chief. I'm your host, Sam, and today we have, coming back once again, we have Ed.
I was there in spirit, and I wasn't talking last week. I want a Photoshop of Shuten Maru on top of the guy from The Adventures of Pete and Pete, Strongest Man in the World.
The reference is lost on me.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you're too young. Anyway, Shuten Maru, the strongest man in the world. Like, we haven't seen,
many strongest men in the world.
Exactly. Like Whitebeard isn't in this week's manga chapter.
The manga, I don't think, ever talked Shuten Maru up as much as the anime is.
I mean, they make him seem very cool, and he's definitely well, that's not true. Kaido's the coolest part of this episode, but he's very cool in this episode.
There's a lot of cool parts of this episode.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the second half of this episode very much over delivers. I sort of thought the first half was the usual.
I thought the whole thing was great. Okay. Title card begins at 3 minutes and 38 seconds. We begin with Uso Hachi walking around in the streets, and he notices a guy with the crescent moon tattoo on his ankle, and so he kind of has to pretend to bump into him and be like, "Oh, we know each other since we're kids." And the guy's like, "Oh, what, we do?" And Usopp sneaks the little symbol piece of paper folded up
into the guy's hand. It was very jarring watching this because I spent all day watching half of the new season of The Crown. It's completely different kinds of entertainment here. It's very jarring to move straight into hot-blooded anime after watching this sober and prestige television thing. It's just so different.
I like how Usopp is both too young and too old to have known this guy from when they were kids.
Yeah, how old is he supposed to be playing here? He's 19.
He's 19 in reality, and he's an old man pretending to be one. Mm-hmm. And this guy's just I don't know, in his 40s or something. So he meets back up with Furnosuke and Orobi, and they're talking about they're getting the plans working, and Frankie he needs the blueprints to Kaido's mansion, but he's having trouble getting it. The carpenter that he works for supposedly has it, but he's a tough nut to crack.
He's got a name, and he's a character who appears there's multiple of him. They said in an SBS, right?
Yeah, he's related to that guy who
Minatomo-san. That's his name.
Minatomo, yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
And I think they both have the same name, but they're supposed to be different characters. I think. Well, it's not like he traveled across the world. He's not like Panda Man.
SBS lore, yeah.
So this is when Usopp starts talking up Shuten Maru, again, the strongest man in the world. Kiku later calls him the strongest samurai in the world. descriptions there are just straight up not in the manga. I don't know. I don't know what the anime is going for here, but
they gotta hype him up somehow. Like, I mean, it does.
I believe it.
I'm
won over.
His skin is very pink later on.
Yeah, back with Luffy's group, you've got Shinobu shaking her butt at Sanji. So last week I was wondering if they were going to kind of tweak the tone of the Sanji pervert gags and stuff like that. I was wondering if they were going to Tifa sports bra it, which they didn't. But I feel like that's what this week is doing a little bit. She's shaking her butt at him. She's doing her whole like, oh, you just can't understand the allure of a mature woman. And Sanji, he's
that was a very good joke. The very good joke is like, yes, I definitely can't handle this.
Yeah, and it's not like an over the top like annoying Sanji thing. Like he's just like kind of taking a step back and like trying to be a little bit polite about it.
Maybe I'm forgetting because I watched both episodes in a row, but like he was a lot worse in last week's episode.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, like I don't know. It's
like this is the kind of tone that I was hoping last week would go for.
I don't know if that's realistic to expect that all the time.
I mean, it just feels like something that the Wano anime has been leaning towards. So I was wondering if I was just going crazy. I was like, oh, maybe that's all just my imagination. But no, they're trying to sneak little.
Typically, the anime is pervier than the manga somehow.
But not Wano. I feel like has been better about that.
Mm-hmm. It's the same level of horniness.
Or it's not to reiterate myself too much. It feels like it's reeling it in, or it feels like it's trying to just like bring a little bit more tastefulness than you might get from a straight translation. So they just straight up say, oh yeah, Ashura Doji, who we're looking for, is he's now going by Shutenmaru, which is another. There's a few interesting changes from the manga throughout this whole episode. Like they in the manga, it's like not until like a little bit after Luffy and Kaido have fought that we learn that Shutenmaru is in fact Ashura Doji, but they just say it right now.
I like the visual sort of thing they do with him. Like they've been showing a lot of people in silhouette, I think, throughout the anime recently. Yeah. But they do this thing where they like make the video hazy, and there's this aura. Like he's always giving off a pink aura, no matter what he's doing.
With his very pink hair and his very pink skin,
and he looks like Brock Lesnar when he's all blown up after like 5 minutes of wrestling. His skin turns like the color of like blackberry ice cream.
They really make him look extra like slovenly and tired and
yeah, he's like laying on top of that like giant boar or not giant like ox's head with his feet resting up on its horns.
Looks like a Snorlax.
Looks like a lazy boy.
So there's him and his thieves are kind of going to town on Okobore town, and they're stealing the food that Luffy had just given them.
Yeah, they're not good guys, really. It's like we sort of accept him. Well, I guess it's a spoiler. We kind of accept him later on, but yeah,
he's been demoralized. His moral compass has been shaken.
He can't even get up in the morning.
And he talks about that throughout the episode. He's like, "Oh, there's no more real men. There's no proper leaders for the samurai." And ever since Oden died, I've been kind of without direction, and I wish I had died a long time ago. So the thieves come across this like old lady. I forgot about this old lady. I think she's great, and she's like she's tiny. She's like a foot tall, and she's praying, and she's standing her ground, and the thieves are threatening her, but she's not shaking, and she's talking about Lady Otoki. And she believes that in what Otoki said, and Shutenmaru was like, "Oh, it's a dumb thing to believe in dead people like that," and it's really setting us up for him to kind of change his tone later. Jack and his Sharkodile appear. Jack's they told us a few weeks ago, or I think a few months ago now, that Jack is like technically the proper boss of the town that Hold'em answers to. And now he's arrived. He's in town, and he's on his Sharkodile, and he and Shutenmaru get into a fight. They clash. That brings us to the eye catch of the episode. When we come back, we have a scene.
That was very cool. That was like they sort of have a brief exchange of words, and I'm not sure if did they show him like drawing blood, or they just saw the confrontation before they go to the commercial.
I don't think they draw blood until after the commercial.
Okay, it's a good little cliffhanger
there. So we come back and Kaido's in his cave. He's getting drunk. He's just generally very emotional. He just kicks one of his henchmen into the wall, and he's like, "Oh, go get them for me." And his henchmen are asking like, "Who do you mean them?" And Kaido's getting mad, like, "Why don't you just know who I'm talking about? Why don't you just like intuit that I'm referring to Luffy and Law?" And so we come back, and Shutamaru and Jack they're having their fight. It's an incredibly well animated fight. Shutamaru cuts Jack, draws blood. It's like, wow, this Jack's like a 1 billion dude, and Shutamaru is totally clowning on him. But then Jack does cut back, and Shutamaru takes quite the beating. He gets sliced up, blood is drawn, his clothes are getting torn up. He's having a tough time. And then we come back to Kaido, who's sitting in his cave, and now we see him transform. Again, another change from the manga where we just see a dragon, and then they explain that dragon's Kaido. We see Kaido turning into the dragon.
Mm-hmm.
Say that again?
I love the way Onigashima looks through all of this. It's just very ominous. And I like the way they make it glow. It doesn't really, I don't know. I feel like that's an effect they don't always use, or maybe it's a new effect they didn't use before. But I thought that looks really cool.
Yeah, the atmosphere with all the Kaido stuff is perfect.
Mm-hmm.
And I love the transformation scene. I love like seeing him like flexing his muscles like gradually. Like you're like, man, what does it feel like to have muscles like that? And like his arms start to turn blue, and he's like turning into the dragon. And he's heading out. He's leaving Onigashima. He's heading over. He's flying over to Wano. The sky is dark and cloudy, just like when Shenron is summoned in Dragon Ball. And Momonosuke is having a moment of he's cowering. He's turning into the little pink dragon form, and Kinemon's kind of like trying to cover him, like, oh no, like this is the time that you definitely cannot be seen as a dragon. And I think Kinemon refers to it as the hateful dragon form. So like the whole concept of the serpentine dragon thing is a sore spot for them.
I love this whole. I mean, Kaido appearing out of the sky. They use this music that I don't know if they've used before, and I really really like it. It's they make Kaido seem important. They give him like a piece of music you haven't heard before, and it's very epic and it's very sweeping. And he comes out of the sky, and it's actually terrifying. The anime executed that really well. Like the whole lead up to that, like the Shitenmaru fight and with Jack, and sort of building up like the ominous like aspect of it. Like I felt that the episode was kind of slow in the first half, but it's sort of putting it was in the service of actually doing something at the end of the episode. Like the worst episodes of One Piece have sort of, you just sort of move on. Like characters just sort of move on, but we peaked something here at the end of this episode, and I think it turned out very well, and I really enjoyed this.
Yeah, it looks great. It sounds great. The atmosphere is very impressive. It's been a while since I've watched an episode that made me think like, man, it'd be fun to just like be watching One Piece for the first time, going through the anime. It would be fun to just be like sitting at home in the middle of the night, like wrapped up in blankets, watching it on the TV, 2 a.m. Like that's the kind of feelings that it kind of inspired back in me, which are my favorite feelings. Episode, I think the episode is great head to toe. I think that they were very. I was very happy with how they kind of brought new scenes and new little aspects of the story that they made up for the anime, like talking Shutenmaru up, the whole deal with just the way that they've kind of shifted the perspective of the story a little bit. They're like, okay, let's not tease some of these secrets and reveals out so long. Let's just kind of show it happen, immerse the audience in kind of the moment.
Yeah,
and I think it pays off. I think that this is the best kind of episode. Like they adapt it in a way that brings the best out of the source material. I loved it. That ruled.
Yeah, it was a very good episode this week. I don't know, anything else you want to mention?
I think that should do it. I think we're ready to move on to the next segment.
All right, cool. This is the Piece Together segment where we take your questions, your comments, and blub all over them. So get ready. First of all, we got Sam. You got the dis-piece for us.
Yes, our first dis-piece this week comes from OG San, who says, "Hey OPP, what's a flashback? Oh, what a flashback we've been getting. Do you all think that Wano was open at some point and that's how Toki was able to leave, or did she escape as a child? I'm really curious as to why Oden left Whitebeard, given how much they seem to get along." I think the latter. I think it is that like leadership, like too big. Like Roger's a guy who can handle like another like big personality leader type, because Roger's like the what you might call it. He's the big boy.
Right. There's no doubt like that. Like Roger's the only other person in the story who's like king of the pirates. He becomes king of the pirates. So like
nobody can compete with him on that.
Like he's got to be like the most confident man in the world, right? Like
pretty much.
There's no ruling him in that one.
And do we think Wano was open for Toki to leave?
Yeah, so I was thinking about this because I don't know that we do know actually that when they transport in time, they end up at the same place where they move forward, right?
Yes.
So if she's trying to get back to Wano, obviously she like moved forward in time somewhere and then wasn't at Wano probably during that time period. It made me kind of wonder if the people of Wano were actually spread out all over the world, and then due to the events of whatever happened, they've consolidated and refused to reach out to the rest of the world. And so she jumped forward in time, found out that all of her people were in Wano and is trying to get to Wano or something. But
I'm not convinced that she is from Wano, but she is connected to the ancestry of Wano from somewhere else, maybe.
Well, it's interesting that they haven't mentioned like at all recently that like the people of Wano carved the poneglyphs. That's important, and it doesn't get mentioned at all yet, really. In Wano.
That's Toki. I think Toki's a great chance to sort of tie that back in.
Yes, I agree.
I feel a little weird about this idea that because this also makes it sort of possibly seem like the origins of the people of the whole world is the Japan. I mean,
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is it starts to like feel a little, I don't know, weird in that way, but we'll see.
That's what I like about the Oden and Whitebeard like gag faces. Yeah. Like they're super unimpressed with Wano. Like they're like, oh, that's a boring place. Why would you ever want to go there?
Right. But on the other hand, it's kind of like the Mary Sue of countries. Like it's got all the important stuff.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
But then there is like a question of like what's the sequence, because like maybe Wano was a mighty empire and with all sorts of different islands all across the world, and then whatever the Void Century was happened. They do and what they did was they recorded all the information they could on the poneglyphs, and then they all just went to the mainland and then locked it down and said, all right, we're staying safe in here. There's a question about like because
why
when
the
she says
nation?
Yeah, and like when she says I want to be there when I wanted to go there since I was a child. When she was a child was before recorded history was wiped.
That's true.
That's where I wonder if there's like a prophecy angle to it. Like as a child, she was told like, oh, hundreds of years from now, there's gonna be a country called Wano, and it's your destiny to be there. Or that's something she's intuited because of her time travel powers or something. It's a really good mystery as to like why is Wano a closed nation? It's something that we know. It's something that the Kozukis are partly responsible for. Oden does. It seems like he knows what the reason is, but he's not impressed by the reason. I think he mentioned that in a chapter or two ago. Where he's like, I never really bought the reason people said we should keep the nation closed. And but Orochi, now that Orochi's in charge, he's not a Kozuki, but he's taken advantage of the whole closed nation thing. So like, what's the story? Where do the evils begin and end with that whole system? So we can move on then.
Mm-hmm.
Our next diss piece comes from Narthon, who says the Kuja cast was great. I hope it becomes a regular thing. I've been hearing, a lot of people have shared that sentiment. I think that will definitely happen again. And they just say, I wish there were women on every week. Good job trying. And yeah, Jill was going to be on, and then at the last second she was like, oh wait, no, I can't be on. And
yeah, that's too bad.
And Maddie is here when she feels like talking.
Yeah, I loved last week's episode. I thought it was really great. In addition to the fact that it was great to hear a bunch of women on the show, it was also just nice to hear from several people who had never been on the show or who aren't on frequently, and just to hear some, different opinions than what we hear week to week.
It was a lot of fun to produce that episode. That was I was just muted the whole time, just having fun.
And then our next diss piece comes from Morgil, who says, so I have a friend who used to be really into One Piece and wants to get back into it. He was anime only and refuses to read the manga because of some dumb hang-up about not being able to follow black and white comics. The last stuff he saw was the very end of Dressrosa, right around the formation of the Grand Fleet. He wants to catch up and start watching week to week, but doesn't want to have to watch over 100 episodes that he missed. I figured the start of Wano would be a good jumping point, but he still wants a good recap of the arcs before that. My initial thought was the great One Piece read-through, but you guys still haven't gotten to Zoe yet. I also don't want to recommend the wiki because I just know that he'll be really confused by that site's overabundance of certain Japanese names and terms. I also thought of just typing up summaries myself, but I just can't find the time. Do you guys have any good recommendations? I want to help him get caught up so I can talk about recent stuff with him again.
All right. Does anyone have any recommendations for helping this guy get his friend back into One Piece? I mean, I think you can just show him Zoe. Like Zoe is a short arc. You can get that. But Whole Cake Island, that's more difficult.
Honestly,
like I understand. Oh, sorry.
Well, just the anime, especially, even more so than the manga, does a very good job or thorough job, I guess I could say, about like being constructed so that people are able to pick it up without having seen all 900 episodes.
Right.
And so, if he wants to just jump in, it will fill you in on anything you need to know.
Mm-hmm. I do still recommend watching all of the Zoe episodes because that's a short arc, and those are a lot of fun episodes.
Sure.
I understand the impulse to want to like make summaries like that for other people. Like I think it's just fun to explain the plots of stuff to people who might not know. But there is a point where it's like, well, if he wants to be caught up, there's some bullet he's got to bite somewhere,
Yeah, he's got to either read the manga, which they don't want to do, or watch the show,
anime,
which they don't want to do.
Yeah.
So what they could do is just jump in, and if they have any questions, they have a friend who knows what's up, and they could just ask you, what something's.
Yeah, exactly. Like, speaking as a person who jumped into One Piece, write it with Wano, like it's entirely possible to do. It's because like one of the great things about One Piece is that each island is its own story arc. It has its own characters. It has its own plot. And so as long as you're familiar with the Straw Hats, basically, and like you'll understand what's going on. And like, sure, maybe like you won't know who all these large-headed samurai are, but like they'll go through and at least establish like what their names are and their personalities through the storytelling itself. Like, I mean, back in the day, like try getting into like X-Men and like you just have to kind of ride with it for a little while, and eventually you pick up, oh, okay, Gambit's horny, and like you go on from maybe that's not the best example. That's a terrible example. Never mind.
Sanji equals Gambit. Okay, got it.
Sanji equals Gambit. Exactly. But no, you can like, as long as you have a friend who's willing to just sit down and say like, oh, by the way, this guy's this thing and da 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 da. Like, no, it's just a story. Like stories you can pick up any real easy.
And it's kind of fun to have those conversations. Like, I don't know, I have a few friends that follow the series who even have read all of it, but don't like think about it all the time. And a lot of times they come to me with like, who is this person? Why is this important? And it's kind of fun to just like talk about One Piece for a little bit,
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to the next one.
Yep. Our next disc piece comes from Stella, who says, "Hey OPP, the Kuja cast was great. I really loved the OTP segment. I'd love to hear the boys do it some week." We kind of did that before we started recording. Sadly,
Oh.
A little bit.
we got some opinions in. We got some hot takes. Question time. Looking back at the last year of One Piece, what was your favorite chapter? Mine was probably 949 when Luffy gave all the prisoners of Udon a big hug. I might have to agree with that.
That's very my frame of reference for time is so off. Like I couldn't tell you what happened in any particular numbered chapter at this point.
Does anybody know like what was happening in January? Like what?
Nope.
The begin. Yeah.
We
Fun.
somewhere in Wano.
If you listen, it's funny because this is basically what Zach and I were doing on our panel at Anime NYC. Was just recapping Wano, but only going off of our episode images as a reference.
Oh, that's fun. What was the January then, if you remember?
I don't, so I have to look it up like right now. Let's see.
Okay, Wikipedia list of One Piece chapters.
Been a while.
Yeah, we're it's kind of dead air.
Mhm.
Yeah. Anyway,
A favorite moment
I
of the
don't know.
year? So,
Yeah.
That was the.
Oh man,
Oh boy.
like all the stuff with Queen, I think was a lot of fun, and like some of the emotional stuff with like Zoro and Hiyori, I think was absolutely it's
Yasu died.
Yasu.
This year.
It was
Yeah.
Yasu. Yeah, it's Yasu.
I think also what was great about that is like I think I infamously didn't care so much the chapter he died, but the following chapter, it was the first chapter we read when we were in Japan, and that one ruled. I like that one a lot. So I'm just going through our episodes at the moment. God, I can't believe we're almost done with this year. Oh God, so many. Yeah, we were in that prison for a while, but yeah, I think that chapter was great. I think just the bonkers chapter of Queen diving off the cliff to headbutt Big Mom.
Oh, that was incredible.
Yeah, like diving dinosaur.
Oh, wait a second. God.
So much of my impression of
Frickin-
Wano is it's kind of long and slow and complicated and not that much. But then you actually like recount some of that stuff, and it's like, oh man.
Just realized the week of my birthday, I was given freaking Soba mask. So sorry, that takes the cake for me.
I can see why.
I think the Wano arc might be good.
It's pretty good.
It is
It's
good.
just your anxiety about One Piece eventually ending.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I'm excited for it to end.
I'm not. What are you, fire crouch?
Well, it's gonna be so good though. It's gonna be so good.
By
It'd be
the
so
fire
good,
crouch
and I'm
reference,
kind
I
of
just
a little afraid it won't end.
Well,
and by my fire crouch reference, I just remembered in the news segment when he used to talk about just being bored with One Piece being like the top rated thing. He's like, I kind of want to see it like just fall down the rankings just so I have something interesting to talk about. I was like what's wrong with you, man? Yeah, I mean,
I
all
got
good.
that wish this year with Demon Slayer, sort of, maybe. It's debatable.
I mean, like they had the best selling volume of the year. Demon Slayer did, right? I think that's a big achievement.
Sources have different. Like Orion is saying something different than Shonen Jump.
Okay. Well, I mean, that would be a big achievement if they did, and I think it's good. It's a good thing that like there are, you know, with My Hero and Demon Slayer, that there are up and coming like shonen, like the format's going to be in good hands. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's what's most important because we all know the story of what happened when Dragon Ball ended, and they thought that was like the end.
Yeah, I think the highest rated manga in Jump that year may have been like Slam Dunk or Kenshin. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Like, because there was like I made a post on Twitter about it a while back of like every year since 1983 there's been a chapter of Dragon Ball, a chapter of One Piece in Jump, and like I think I posted a poll of like the top 4 manga that were in the magazine that year, and that's like the nadir. Like people were proclaiming, like Greg has that joke about, like they were proclaiming the death of Shonen Jump on and the image that they used in their article is the one that has the
I think
first.
I think Steven shared that.
Yeah, I think it's a Greg story. Steven has also mentioned it, but in their article is the image of the issue of Jump with the first chapter of One Piece in it, proclaiming, Shonen Jump's in trouble, but there it is.
They run this trash.
No one's gonna buy this.
Anyway, what's the next one, Sam? Or is that it for a piece?
Our final disc piece comes from Ralph (Grimm), who says, "My respect for Kinemon has steadily grown over time, but now it just skyrocketed with this chapter. It's crazy to think he went from being introduced as a talking butthole to the fist bump that is heard around the world. Are there any characters you guys thought were goofs at first, but now love?"
First of all, how come that didn't split the sky? Character. Well, right off the bat, Usopp.
Usopp.
Yeah. Usopp.
That's a good one.
I think, especially in the manga, I didn't quite have that design down yet. So those a lot of those straight on shots of Usopp, it's like straight on shots of like Simpsons characters where it's just like, this shouldn't be. Characters that were dorks.
Kinemon, I think, is a distinct example for me. Like I was kind of like whatever on him for most of his presence in the series, and then like the second they bring up, he was a no good ruffian who dyed his hair because it was a punk, like that, I was like, oh, now I'm in love. I don't know. For the most part, I like to. I want to keep my instincts sharp. I want to know the character that I'm going to love the second they appear. Like Caesar Clown, I was like, oh, that's my guy. Carrot, it did take a few chapters. It took until she stowed away where I was like, oh, now I'm the carrot guy. Caribou, I always liked. And that's paying off in dividends.
Nobody's perfect. All right. So who has the Reddit questions? Anyone?
I actually have those up.
All right, cool.
For some reason, I just decided to look them up early. So,
and I do apologize to people who have been sending in emails. Zach will be back next week, and the password to the email account will be back with him.
Yeah, I think Zach died on a mountain or something. So.
He almost died on a mountain, according to his Twitter, but he's tweeting about it, so he's being dramatic.
Okay.
So he tweeted from beyond the grave.
Zach's off traveling with the Whitebeard pirates. Now he's in a land of blazing hot, and then a land of blazing cold.
Mm-hmm.
Eating not but burning hot coals, and drinking not but burning hot cola.
And when he comes back on the podcast, he'll just introduce us with a big old globaga burgle blub. Okay, so for Reddit, we got about 4 questions here. First one is let's see, 3 questions really. One, I don't know how to answer that. I'm never on Reddit. First one is from Falcon Gales. In the current flashback year, Buggy and Shanks are 9, Marco is 14, and Jozu is 12. Are pirate captains just irresponsible bringing children on, or is it something about these young men showing promise? Also, does Luffy need a little kid on his crew when he becomes Pirate King? I think he might take Tama with him to keep Ace's promise.
That would be extremely cute.
It would be.
I think there's a very like. Oh, go ahead.
Chopper's like 17 now, right?
Yeah, Carrot's the youngest one on the ship now.
They grow up so fast.
I know. I could see like Tama being on the crew being nice. Like, you gotta think of like Transformers, where the Autobots just took Spike and his dad everywhere. You know, it's like they shouldn't, but they did. Yeah, because Buggy and Shanks are 9, and like Shanks totally. I guess when Luffy asked to come along with the red-haired pirates, and Shanks like, "How old are you?" And Luffy's like, "I'm 7." Like, if you were 9, I would have considered it, but you're too young.
Yeah, One Piece is a story that starts with a full-grown man daring a child to stab himself in the eye. So, like, I don't think that pirates have any conception of the sanctity of childhood.
I mean, have you read the ride in Disneyland?
I think they do appreciate the sanctity of childhood, but the sanctity of childhood includes getting your ass kicked a bunch.
Mm-hmm. It's a rite of passage.
Yeah.
Next one is from Lord Nemo 593. Ace with a mustache. That's not a question, but we'll answer it anyway. Yes, I think we talked about this on the manga recap that Gold Roger here is showing, he kind of looks like Ace. He looks like a what was it, rugged version of Portgusty Ace.
Yeah.
I think.
Now we're gonna find out he has the flame fruit.
Don't do that. That'd be impossible, though.
I mean,
No, it would not.
Because
he died before Ace was born.
That is true.
They've been more explicit about, like, I mean, they haven't actually said that Roger didn't have a devil fruit, but, like,
I hope he doesn't.
Yeah, I hope he doesn't there.
Yeah, that's just hockey is more his vibe, I think.
Sense. More into hockey. And then our last question comes from El Grosso. It says, "Hey OPP, it's my birthday today, and I was wondering if Dellinger was there and willing to wish me a happy birthday. Do we have a Dellinger here?"
You answer that.
Oh yeah, that's right. I'm a Dellinger. Hey there, El Grosso. Have yourself a happy birthday, El Grosso.
All right,
Eat.
cool.
You're gross.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. Eat your cake. Get out of here.
Okay.
Lady, shut that kid up. Sorry, I'm thinking of Paul Lind on the plane. Infamous moment.
So it was,
happy birthday, El Grosso.
Yeah, happy birthday.
That was it for
From Lao G and all the gang.
Yeah.
In prison.
That was it for Reddit, Steve?
Yeah, that's all for Reddit.
Okay. So that means it's time to piece the tweet. Yeah. Time to piece the tweet. First one comes from Mo McDonald, who says, what new face reaction gag would you like to see in this flashback? Like, we've already got a classic one with the he doesn't want to do that face.
Yeah.
I mean, it'd be asking too much to demand more, but, like, maybe, I don't know, maybe Toki doing the same face would be funny.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just like that.
It would be fun to see Roger do a face fault of some sort.
That's a good point. Yeah, anyone else?
No.
Okay. Brian Newton, our very own Dark King Zoro, just tweeted the "Take me with you" at us. So give him a good "Take me with you." There you go, Brian.
He had something else attached to that tweet, I think.
He did? Yeah, it's just the GIF of Marge. Yeah.
Because I thought he made like an observation somewhere. Hold on, because I remember thinking. Oh no, he just tweeted the Oden picture.
Yeah. Okay, and next one comes from P. Jensfeld, who says, "I love this flashback so much. Is this the second time we get 5+ chapters without the Straw Hats? I can only recall the Reverie as a segment without the Straw Hats before. But by the way, don't you think Roger looked very similar to Ace in this week's last panel? By that last part, yes, I did. But
yeah, now that you say it,
yeah. But as for without the Straw Hats, like Law's flashback was pretty long, and that had no Straw Hats in it at all.
Hey, I mean, Law's a Straw Hat, kinda, right?
He's married. He's married to one.
Right.
All right. And let's see. Oh, Sniper of My Heart says, anyone else really hoping for Oden to go to the Roger Pirates and a Davy backfight? And I should say that's Kendra, who was on the show on the Kuchicast last week. But
Kendra.
Yep. Anyone else really hoping for Oden to go to the Roger Pirates in a Davy backfight?
Ooh.
I would like that.
You know who here loves the Davy backfight?
All of us?
Well, as you're about to find out, there is a surprise trivia segment at the end of the episode. So.
Right.
But I think that's it for the Piece to Tweet and for Piece Together this week.
Hang on.
Yeah.
Hang on.
What?
I sent in questions for on Twitter last week, but the show recorded early, so they didn't get in. So I'm going to ask them now.
Hey, where are they?
That's fair.
It was a while ago, and I forgot the hashtag. Look, I'm not perfect, but so question one. I've got two questions. Question one. My Wano name is Ashura Dojinshi. What's your Wano name?
Oh man.
Oh, we actually did go over this. I am Sam Taro, which sounds like Hamtaro.
Yeah, I think we've done versions of this in the past.
Which Maddie drew an adorable picture of.
Yeah.
That's fine. Okay, next question. Final question. Werner Herzog described Baby Yoda as hauntingly beautiful. Who in One Piece is hauntingly beautiful? And who in One Piece would elicit the strongest reaction in Werner Herzog?
She's a clown.
Ivankov, Big Mom.
Herzog would have
Caesar.
a lot to say about the hiking bear.
Caesar.
Yeah.
Hiking bear.
Oh yeah.
Pulled
Herzog would love hiking bear.
I think he'd
That's
like Buggy. I also think he'd like first design Chopper, original design Chopper.
Yeah, there we go.
The smoking one.
No. First anime Chopper with his big anime snout. Although yes, the proto Chopper from Databook Green is also very good.
Smoking Chopper. I think
that would be his favorite. I think.
Yeah. Okay. Did anyone else have a Wano name they wanted to give themselves?
Another hauntingly beautiful thing. That sketch that Oda did for a bit he didn't wind up using in Skypiea of Robin sprouting her face on the back of Chopper's hat.
Yeah. Yep.
All right. Yeah, I guess that's it. Anyone else have any final thoughts?
It's all for Piece of Tweet.
That's it for Piece of the Tweet, but we got we're gonna do a round off segment, and David also has some trivia he wants to do with us, so we're gonna get right to that.
All right.
This has been the One Piece Podcast, episode 598 for the week of December 1st, 2019. My name has been Ed. Anyway, on this episode, we had a manga recap of Chapter 964, Oden's Adventure, also an anime recap for episode 912. We also took your piece together questions, and we're going to have a trivia segment here in just a couple of minutes. But first of all, I want to let the people who were guests on this show do their plugs and let them let you know where you can find them. Yeah, that's right. All right, Joey, where can the people find you?
They can follow me on Twitter at Joey Weiser or Joey Weiser Comics on Instagram. Tragic-Planet is my portfolio site where you can see my work. Please consider buying my comics. I do graphic novels like the Merman series as well as Ghost Hog, which just came out this year. Would make excellent holiday gifts, for instance. And listen to Toho Yaro, a Japanese film club podcast that I do with Alex from the One Piece podcast and our friend Scott. We recently put out an episode on Takashi Miike's live-action version of Yatterman, which was a lot of fun to talk about. And coming up soon, we'll be talking about Goke, Body Snatcher from Hell. Hey, it's our Halloween episode in December. And that'll have possibly a special guest, so keep an eye out for that and follow Toho Yaro on Twitter for more information on that.
Right on. Thank you, Joey. And Sam, how can the people out there contact you?
They can find me on Twitter at Lucky Chainsaw, and they can find me doing the anime recaps on the One Piece podcast every week.
Right on. And our special guest, David Bednar, where can people contact you, and do you have anything you'd like to promote?
All right. You can follow me on Twitter at Ycarps. That's Sparky spelled backwards, but with the letters rearranged so it doesn't spell Y craps. You can. I've got a One Piece read through going on. It started almost 1 year ago today, and I am almost through Skypiea. So at that track, there's going to be a lot of content going on for until the heat death of the universe. If you want to see some of the art I do. I occasionally, sometimes, slightly draw. You can go to davidbednar, BEDNAR.com to check out my portfolio site. It has been a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you, David. And Steve, how can people out there contact you?
You could find me on Twitter and Instagram, It's easy to find me. It's just my name, Steve Yurko. Listen to me on other podcasts like The Deep End, Matt J, and of course Toon Sweet with Doctor. And I don't know. I'll be at MagFest again in early January. So if you happen to be going to MagFest in National Harbor, Maryland, that's where I'll be. And Alex will be there too.
Right on. Okay, so for the One Piece podcast, I am Edward E. One Piece on Twitter. I'm also at Weeb Trailers on Twitter. The podcast you can find at onepiecepodcast.com, twitter.com, youtube.com, and facebook.com/onepiecepodcast. onepiecepodcast at gmail.com is our email address. onepiecepodcast is the Skype name. You can leave us a message there. You can subscribe on SoundCloud. You can subscribe on Spotify. You can, please support us on Patreon, patreon.com/onepiecepodcast. You can subscribe, rate, and review on Apple Podcasts or call us on our phone number. That's 347-497-MAJI.
Maji. Yeah.
347-497-6254. Call anytime.
Call anytime.
Anytime.
But you don't. But
All right, so, David, you had a trivia game that you prepared for us. Hopefully this will be, hopefully we don't run Joey off. Hopefully this is an easy one.
All right. Well, hang on. I gotta.
He's got
So you thought you could get away without doing a David back fight? Challenge. I'm not going to do that voice for the rest of it.
oh, you're doing a good job.
yeah.
All right.
People like to tell their friends that they should get into voice acting, but I'm gonna say it for real.
Once long ago, I was a voice of a minotaur in a video game. Never again, but yeah, maybe someday.
Yeah.
Anyway, I loving the trivia segment at the end of the podcast and knowing that Zach was out, so there would be no trivia, have written my own trivia game for you. It is called Portmanteau d'Ace. Now, each answer is the name of a One Piece character plus the answer to the clue. The character name will always come first. For example, if I ask you the question,
David, can I ask you a question real quick? Do you listen to Ask Me Another on NPR?
Oh my God, yes I do.
I can tell. This will probably be pretty good. All right, continue.
So, if I ask you, Peter Jackson directed this 9-hour trilogy about a gross old swordsman who stabbed Whitebeard, you'd answer, Squard of the Rings.
Oh.
It's gonna be like that, guys.
I like it. All right. You're the ringmaster here. How do you want this to go?
All right. I'm gonna say I've got how many of these? Like 29 of these. We don't have to do all of them. But I'm gonna say first 2, 3, 4, 5. You guys feeling dangerous?
I think we usually go to 3.
All right. First to 3 will win. I
think we go in order of how we went in the manga recap, right?
That's usually, yes. That would be how we do it.
Sure. So start with Ed, then Steve, Sam, and then Joey.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
All right. Maddie, you want in?
Doesn't sound like it.
Nope.
All right.
Have fun, guys.
All right. So, all right, start. And of course, after the first person guesses, there's the chance to steal. So, Ed.
Mm-hmm.
Can't tell Oda's women apart? This lady has 8 arms and turns men into stone.
What's the mythological creatures? Hancoctopus?
That's
it. Oh, it is? Okay.
I'd prefer full name every time, so
right.
Boa Hancoctopus.
Boa Hancoctopus, there you go.
I'll give it to you. All right, 1 point up. All right, Steve.
Okay.
Endangered bear meets endangered sea animal, or are they just cleverly hiding in the pages of a One Piece?
What?
Endangered bear meets endangered sea mammal, or are they just cleverly hiding in the pages of One Piece?
Steve, this involves one of your more favorite recent characters from Venture Brothers.
Oh, okay. Still. Oh wow. Bear, sea lion. No, the bear is sea mammal.
One Piece character always goes first, by the way.
Wow. One Piece character goes first.
One Piece characters goes first.
It's a One Piece character who's hidden in the manga a lot and a endangered sea mammal.
Oh, okay. I see. I'm dumb. Still. Wow.
All right.
I think we're gonna have to cut you off there.
So we're gonna have to kick you. Anyone? Can...
If I got it. I might be wrong here, but Kung Fu Panda Man or Kung Fu Dugong Panda Man?
No.
So close. Close.
So who's next? Who gets the next guess? Who is in the next in line?
I'm gonna just toss it out.
Sam.
Anybody? First answer.
Oh, I got it. Panda manatee.
That's it. Panda manatee.
So the second one is not a One Piece character. It's just an animal. The first one, yeah.
Or it's just a
That's how we're doing.
Yeah. So it's One Piece character plus the answer to the trivia question.
Gotcha.
It's I spent way too much time on this.
I'm enjoying it. I'm really
creative.
Correct.
I'm having fun.
So, all right, Sam. All right. You guys are gonna like this one. This helmsman of the Blackbeard pirates is also Batman's nefarious foe, the Penguin.
So I know the character.
Oh wait, so this one isn't an animal. Okay, I see where we're going with this.
Yeah, it's just a trivia question that you have to kind of decipher.
Right.
Can you repeat so Blackbeard's helmsman?
This helmsman of the Blackbeard pirates is also Batman's nefarious foe, the Penguin.
Jesus Burgess Meredith?
That's it.
Yeah.
Very good.
Nice one.
Good. All right, so that's a point, Sam.
Mhm.
So it's 1 point Ed, 1 point Sam, 1 point Joey.
Mhm.
All right, Joey. This ancient Mesopotamian religion practices the duality of good and evil along with three-sword style.
Okay. So this is Noah's Zoroastrianism.
Yep,
or
pretty
something.
close. Yeah,
Yeah.
Zoroastrianism.
That's right.
Okay.
that's-
Yeah.
2 points, Joey.
All right, there you go. That's a good one.
This is an adventure.
Isn't it just?
This is bad for me
Thank you
because
for being lenient.
I'm only good at remembering One Piece, so that's and not everything else on this planet. So I'm not gonna do well here.
All right. Here, I'll give Ed a fun one.
Okay.
This former foe excuse me. This former foe followed Kobe into the Marines and has an evolutionary advantage that allows him to grip tools and show approval.
Helmet posable thumbs.
That's right.
Jeez.
It's like doing a crossword puzzle.
All right. That's 2 points, Ed. Steve, your chance to get on the board. You may know him as Frankie, but I know him as a highly unstable chemical prone to ignition.
Cutty flammable?
That's it.
Okay.
1 point, Steve.
Cutty inflammable.
Wow. I am impressed, David. This is
Zach is
a
listening
more
to this right
interesting
now. and
night
he's
than I
like-
thought I was going to have.
Zach is listening to this. He's like, oh, they're coming for me. They're
Ooh.
coming for my work.
Here's a tough one. Sam, a legal brief submitted to a judge about this scumball head of CP9.
It's the One Piece character that I'm blanking on right now. Okay, got it. So repeat the question now.
This is a legal brief submitted to a judge about this scumball head of CP9.
God damn it. It is a hard one because I don't know my legal terms.
Man, you'd almost have to have gone to law school to get this. If it's what I'm thinking it is.
To be fair, I've been watching a lot of courtroom dramas lately, so my
Okay.
frame of reference might be all wrong.
I don't know. Span damage control. I don't know.
I think I got this one. Spandamicus brief?
All right. Yeah, Spandamicus Curie.
Yeah, amicus here. Yeah.
All right.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Is that 3, Ed?
Oh, yeah, it is. Okay.
Oh.
All right.
Wow.
There we go.
Man, that was fun, David.
Yeah, that's.
I have a grotesque amount left over.
You got to come on more often then.
Yeah.
There we
think so,
go.
yeah, like that was a lot of fun. So, all right. Thank you, Dave.
Hang on.
Yeah,
Can we just y'all together just do my favorite one?
Sure.
Okay.
Sure. Yeah.
All right. Oh, would you say this Navy Admiral is also a type of durable and, yes, lightweight artificial flooring?
What position in the
Admiral.
Navy were they again? Navy Admiral?
Yeah. This one is just so bad. I can't resist.
It's like Fuji.
I got it.
Maddie, yeah?
Borso linoleum.
That's it.
Oh my god.
Wait.
I was
What?
thinking of their admiral name, not their actual name, but that's
Oh, Borza.
Borso linoleum.
Borso linoleum.
All right, that's a good
Wow.
note that's a good note to go out on. So, all right. Thank you everybody for being on the show and for the One Piece podcast. My name is Ed,
My name is Steve.
and we'll talk to you next week, everybody. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
Wow.
Or someone don't be.